Hello, everyone, and welcome to Brown Bag Lunch with me, Laura Collins, the athlete psychotherapist. Today, I am in the office, not the kitchen, because it's one of those days. I was just sharing with Dr. Carly that it's one of those school days that makes sense to not have school, but not so much makes sense for the parents. So they are taking up the kitchen and probably eating the entire kitchen through. But instead, so in the office today, I have the wonderful, fabulous Dr. Carly Ellman. Carly, thank you so much for being here today. And today, we're going to be talking about our experiences of parenting and youth sports. But before we get there, Carly, I keep forgetting to ask people, what's for lunch?
Okay, so I started with some fruit, which I finished before we even met, and then I have my second bowl, and then I also have a chicken salad.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Nourishing, nourishing. I don't know. Let's see if anyone's online. If you want to share what you're having for lunch, whether you're here live or later on the recording, please do so because we want to make sure that even though we're going about our day, we need to be nourishing and hydrating. Okay. So let's get started. 20 minutes goes by really, really fast. Carly, one of my favorite posts that you write. Now, everybody, by the way, Carly is multi-talented is not even the word. Seriously, author, writer, documentarian, writing a book, professor, clinician, parent of athletes. I mean, so many amazing titles, aside from partner, friend, all the other amazing things you are. But one of my favorite articles that you wrote, which was recently, was about Mother's Day. I mean, it really, really, really said things. I feel like if you were my spirit animal, you would be. But you speak outwardly, publicly, the things that I think internally a lot of parents carry. And what I really loved about that Mother's Day article was the idea of like, we could have just had a day off. Let's not do extra. Like the day off to be with family, to lean into the other parts and other identities of ourselves, not only for our athletes to see other parts of, but for us too, as the supporting people to the athlete. We too sacrifice our weekends, our vacations, our money, our time and energy. So that really spoke to me. Thank you so much for writing such a really touching and really important piece. So I was just coming off of like that Mother's Day article, which was
Yeah.
so good. Just like, can you share with us a little about your experience? I mean, there's so
Sure.
much, so many points. I know it's heavy and loaded, but just speak about
Yeah.
you. Hmm.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. One of the things that I love about being a social worker is I just feel like we can just easily connect with people, and people are just willing to help and have conversations, and that so. For anyone watching, this is their first time we're actually meeting with each other, but we've been following each other, and I love the stuff that you do. So basically, I am a former Division One field hockey player, and that was my identity forever. Um, and after that, I really struggled with an eating disorder and alcoholism, which I'm now in recovery from, and which is a daily struggle, one day at a time. And I like to say that not for recognition, but for people who feel like they're going through it and they'll never get through it, to know that you are not alone. Um, and so when we had kids, I have a 10-year-old girl, a 9-year-old, and an 18-month-old daughter, all the girls. And of course, they were going to play sports. Like I played sports, my husband played sports, and they got into it. And man, did they get into it, right? Like the system that we have is the problem. I want to say this too. Like if you're a parent watching this, like you're not doing anything. You're not the problem. I mean, there's things that we need to work through, but we're part of the system that's causing us to do these things. So I always want to make sure people know I'm coming from a place of compassion. As a parent myself, I don't want anyone telling me I'm doing anything wrong. So that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to just say, like, there's things that we can change, and there's ways that we can do things differently and what I believe better, which will help our children. But what happened was I was able to be a part of this documentary called Beyond Stigma, which is going to be coming out soon, hopefully. And through that, I did meet Linda Flanagan, who has a wonderful book. Um, And oh my God, I'm blanking out on the name of it. But in her book, she talks about this mother, like someone like wishing that like I just had the day off, and it like really resonated with me. And what happened is my daughters just kept, they keep playing a lot of sports, and I keep being on the sideline. And particularly this past year, I got sick to my stomach with what was going on the sidelines, and I just couldn't go anymore. And so I started writing every Monday. I write a Substack, and it's very therapeutic for me to like debrief about the week and the weekend, basically. And particularly the one on Mother's Day, we had 3 games. I have 3 daughters, but only 2 of them play. They were in different locations. And we didn't get to be as a family. And a lot of people post things about they don't want to be anywhere but watching their kids on the sidelines. And yeah, it's great. I love it. I really do. But like, I also miss, I don't even know if we've ever really had it, but like just time to breathe. My kids don't know what to do when they don't have downtime. They are so used to going to practice, going to rehearsal, going to school, whatever, that like when we have a day off, like they're like, what do we do? And that's again part of this system that's like just so rigid, and you have to, we were talking before we started, like if you're not in by 6 years old, you're too late. That's crazy. We were also talking about how rec sports have died, right? My 9-year-old is playing rec softball. It is the most amazing thing I've ever been a part of. I love it. I love softball. I knew nothing about softball before. And I'm like, this is how it's done. Like, we need more of this.
What feels different about rec softball versus club or anything else?
The pressure. I do not see the pressure. And I don't know if that's because I'm not putting the pressure on. I want to acknowledge that, right? Like as a parent, I put pressure on, whether I mean to or not. Particularly when my girls started playing field hockey, I wanted to give them everything I didn't have, right? Because I didn't have any of this. I started playing at 7 years old. I'm sorry, 7th grade. My daughters were playing when they were like 7. And so I was like, yes, do more. And that's about me, right? And that's some of the stuff that I'm writing about and thinking about in the book is like, what's our identity? And like, what are we putting on our children? Whether, again, I don't think anyone's doing it on purpose. I really don't. And I, as a therapist, as an educator, I'm pretty self-aware, and I struggle. I say this all the time. I talk out of both sides of my mouth, right? This is not good. We need to say no to things. And then I'll get an email from a coach. Hey, there's real potential in your daughter. Just sign her up for this one extra thing, $700. Okay, that doesn't align, right? And then I feel turmoil, like just constant turmoil. And I'm not alone. Like, I have conversations with people, and there's so much stuff out there, people trying to do things and write things and say things, and just by you doing this, right? Like, hopefully people feel less alone, because I think what happens is we feel like I'm the only one feeling this way. I'm not going to say anything. But if as together, these moms were like, we can't get our kids here from 4 to 5 on a Friday, it's just not possible, then maybe that would change things.
Oh, I'm going to say something that's kind of controversial, but I'm going to say it because I was talking with a coach last week, and we were talking about parents, and we were talking about coaches, and we were talking about everything, and like how everything is sort of like a web. You tap one and it just reverberates throughout everything. So, I'm going to say this thing with all the love behind it right now, which is, just because we're putting, you hear some of these parents and the amount that they're spending because they have to. There's like locked, they're stuck, zip tied, hands behind their back. But whether you're paying 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, I mean, you can pay $1 million for your kid, and it doesn't mean that they will get that spot on the Olympic team, go pro, or deserve it, or get the D1 scholarship or D2 scholarship. And when we were fleshing this out with this coach and I, we were chatting, was like, we have to remember that anything that we're doing is about, like, what is the goal that we have for ourselves as parents for our children? And it was reminding me, even with my own kid, like trying to be practical. Sometimes the things that he says will be like, well, mom, I'm a pretty good shooter, so I'm gonna go pro. And I'm like, great. I don't want to squash his dreams or what he thinks is his dreams right now. But I'll just be like, but what else? What else are we into? If basketball doesn't go through, what else is there? Because I promise you, child, whether you're lucky enough to voluntarily have your final tour like Kobe or MJ or Magic Johnson or something, or you end up not for all the reasons, at some point your sport is going to end this competitive way that you know it today. So we also have to have other parts of it. Like, tell me what else you're excited about. So I just try to, sometimes, and right now it's just all video games and hang out with my friends, which is fine. Great. What
Yeah.
kind of video games do you like? Because I just, just a reminder, I wish that was there for you and me when we were growing up in our sport. Because I still remember the day that the doctor told me at UCLA, like, okay, you're done. You can't do this anymore. Your injuries are too much. Like, you're going to be done. And I thought, oh my God, yesterday was my last day of practice ever.
Ever.
Like, you
Yeah.
never know when it's going to show up. So to your point, like, thinking about this and the conversation I had with that coach, like, just because we're pouring all this stuff in, sometimes it doesn't mean anything. So what do we want to make from it? Like, where's our choice? Where's the choice that we have?
Yeah, I think like kind of along those same lines, like we need to be thinking about like what else is there, right? And who we are. And some people believe that if your kid they want to do this and they want this, they should be doing this all day, every day. And I don't think that's true. One, that's not good for their body, but two, they need other things, right? And so, for example, my daughter plays soccer and field hockey, and all she wants to do in her free time is dance. Like, she just is currently watching Dance Moms for like the third time, and she just wants to dance around. And like, so there's like this thing like, well, should she be dancing? Should she be playing soccer and field hockey? Like, first of all, I don't think there's a right answer, but like, I think it's good that she has this other outlet, right? Now, at the other hand, when I interviewed some people for my book who did play professional sports or stopped in college or whatever, the common theme is it was all intrinsic motivation. None of it
Exactly.
was from their parents. Like, when I asked them like who pushed you, like, to the point where someone was like, I don't even think my parents like knew I was doing that. Like, I don't even think they knew like I was doing this in the off time, or that I was like, this coach was, doing this with me. So like, so then it's like, so my daughter will be like, I want to play, professional soccer. Okay, great. I don't want to squash your dreams. Like, I want you to have, but like, what do you want to do when you're downtime? You want to dance, which is
Amazing.
also great,
Hmm.
So, but it does, like, I think as parents too, we need to remember, like, it's got to come from within for them. Like, if we are the ones pushing and asking all these questions and signing them up for all these things, it, again, why are we doing it? What are our values? Like you mentioned, like, what's the goal? The other piece that's really come up for me while I've been doing this work and, like, bringing in the social work perspective and stuff, right? Like, what are our values? Like, I really had to think, like, I mean, we throw that word around a lot. And I'm like, what do I like? If I say I value family and I choose to send my daughter to a soccer tournament as opposed to going to a family event, that doesn't align.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do I really value family?
Yeah.
And again, I hear this all the time. We miss this, we miss this. There was a Halloween tournament that my girls went to, or my one daughter had, and it kind of popped up, and they went down to Virginia, and there was a few parents who said, "We're not doing this. Like, this is like our Halloween. We're doing this with our family." And I was like, "I am so proud of you. I am so like you are doing it right." My daughter and my husband went to the tournament. It was my youngest first Halloween. I didn't love that decision. I'm not proud of that decision. If I think about it now, I still don't like that decision. But you know what? That's what we did. But man, was said to those that you made I'm really happy for you guys.
Mm. But I love that because that goes to show the importance of community, and that we can say these things and we can say them out loud, and because we're all grappling with it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do either, especially if our kid is saying, I want to go, I
Right.
want to go versus family event. You have that other really wonderful article too about when you and your family last second you just took
Yeah.
the kids and you went and you had this amazing family event, and
It's
just
amazing.
jumping on those like last minute impromptu decisions to, and then you just like really leaned into that family time. Those are ways that we can try to make up for those things too. But just all this to say is that I appreciate what you're saying. I love your vulnerability, because I think you're speaking for all of us when we're just like, but our kid says they want to do that. But I also need this, or I need this time back, or I'm exhausted. I think of my parents, like what they did for me to be a gymnast. I mean, 6 days a week, sometimes seven, going down, especially when I was still living in California. We would, at some point, I was going to a gym in Huntington Beach, was close to sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours in traffic one way, going to school early, getting out of school early to carpool my way down there. Just the things that they had to go through for me to be able to do that sport. So, to this point, we're just giving every parent, every guardian right now a ginormous hug, because we just recognize like it is hard. We want to
So
be such
hard.
good parents. We want to give them what we didn't have. And then on the other hand, we're trying to process. But to your point, I think it's as long as we're grappling, trying to figure out like, is this society stuff? Is this my stuff? What is this? And then maybe we can get to a place at least where like, this is out of all these decisions, this is the best one that we can go with right now.
Yeah, and I think, just to finalize that piece, right? Like the community piece, like if we come together and say, like, again, like, no, this tournament's not going to work for us,
Hmm.
right? Then it's like, there's power in numbers.
Hmm.
And I just want to remind people that, like, you're not alone. You're not the only parent going through this. And if we, like, again, come together, and then there'll maybe will be small shifts. There's it's a huge business now. There's a lot to fight, but all we have to do is, like, again, a little bit thinking about our family, our children, our community, and hopefully then we could make, good positive shifts.
Right. I mean, we're paying the money, so we might as well say something.
Oh, that's another
We're putting the money,
conversation.
yeah, dude. The
That's
multi-gajillion
another.
dollar business of youth sports. We're putting the money for everybody, so we might as well get together and make decisions that work for our families together.
Well, I think that's
There's
the
something to
piece too where parents struggle, because we are paying so much money, and
be.
then we have expectations
Hmm.
from that money. Hey, I'm paying X amount, so this is what I think should happen with my child on your team.
Hmm.
Now, that's not our place. We can decide to put our money elsewhere, but, like, they're the ones that are the experts, and they're the ones you're paying. So, but yeah, that's kind of where there's been a lot of, parent, coach, parent, club, um,
Yeah.
issues.
Oh my God, we could go down an entire other rabbit hole
I
right now
know.
about like parents and coaches. Maybe I would love to have you back, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about, how can we collaborate better with coaches and programs so that we are creating like I said, it's always like we cannot decimate the former iceberg. It's like scraping it with a tablespoon, but we can create a new iceberg that hopefully would be a little bit more compassionate, trauma informed, loving, caring to families, to athletes, to parents, to coaches, to everybody. But anyway, little by little, we grow a new iceberg together.
Yeah.
Dr. Carly, thank you so much. I'm just going to throw up some of the everybody. Please reach out to Carly. She's amazing. And please follow her blog or her Substack, excuse me. The Substack is called Finding the Way in Sport. It is so, so good. Everybody, please sign up. If you'd like to work with Dr. Carly, why didn't that go? There we go. CarlyEllman.com. Um, be on the lookout for the documentary, Beyond Stigma. When is it coming out, Carly?
Hopefully in the fall. I did remember the book. It's Take Back the Game by Linda Flanagan. It's an amazing book. So yeah, hopefully in the fall.
Oh, please keep us posted. Would love to be able to
Yes.
just like amplify that, and I'll show up and I'll support and I'll learn from it too.
Yeah.
Um, Everyone, thank you so much. Sorry for the tech difficulties. It was my dentist calling and busted everything up. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, need to reach out. This is my website. In a couple weeks, I will have Shelby Remillard. I thought I was incorrect last time about it, but Shelby is a former swimmer, and she's going to be here talking and sharing her expertise as well. Carly, I would love to have you back. You're amazing. Thank you so much for your love and care for all of us here. All right. Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye.